Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulullah. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Kitab Sharh Ajaib al-Qalb, The Marvels of the Heart. This is book 21 of Ihya al-Din, the revival of the religious sciences, that is the Islamic sciences, translated by Walter James Kelly. We have reached page 112. This is really the last few pages of chapter 12, so 112, end of chapter 12. And the very last thing that we have read, Imam Ghazali includes a story about the messenger, the prophet of God, Yahya alayhi salam, Yahya bin Zakaria, that he had an exchange with Satan, who wanted to give him advice, but he did not want advice, but he asked about the children of Adam, sons of Adam, and Satan divided the children of Adam into three groups. One is strong. They might be tempted, but soon they would seek forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are strong. And Satan said that they don't give up on the strong people, but at the same time they don't get what they want. And the second group, we might call them the weak group, if you will. They play with them like kids play with a ball. So Satan does not exert effort in tempting and swaying those people. At will, كيف شئنا قد كفونا أنفسهم. The third classification of people, he said, they are like you, meaning like you, Yahya alayhi salam. He said, they are like you, infallible. We cannot do anything to them. We are like, there is no way they can do anything to them. And infallibility, we said that it's really for the prophets. They could make judgmental mistakes, but they would never basically make or sometimes the people might say khilaf al-awla, so it's not like a mistake, but they might opt for the second best, if you will, in terms of action or opinion. And there should be no infallibility after Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away. That's it. He was the seal of the prophets, and there should be no more infallibility. Now, do people on earth still believe in certain people being infallible? Yes. Amongst Muslims, the Shiites believe that the Imam is the Imam, meaning that any one of the 12 Imams is infallible. And number two is that their status, they have supernatural knowledge, and this would translate in certain contexts that the Imam is the only one who is capable of interpreting the Quran. Literally, you'll find people, followers. I met an academic, and then she it was a conference, and it was online, really, that meeting, and She, they have, we have the word Shia is an umbrella. You have the 12th Imamites, you have the Ismailis, and you have the Zaydis of Yemen. Typically, Muslim scholars would say that the Zaydis, this is not the Houthis, the political. Now we talk about the Zaydis. The Zaydis are the closest to the Sunnites, and she belonged to the sect of the Ismailis. And she believes, though she's an academic, that no one is allowed to interpret the Quran except the Imam. So they do believe in the infallibility. They practically they have extended the infallibility of Prophet Muhammad to Al al-Bayt. Outside this, and this means that there's a certain hierarchy within Shiism that is not there amongst the Sunnites, and one might say that the Shiites are practically like the Catholics in terms of that you know exactly where people fit into the like a pyramid of a hierarchy, if you will. And since we mentioned the Catholics, the Catholics believe in the infallibility of the Pope if he speaks ex cathedra. They differ with the Orthodox Christians on this issue. But in our context here for Imam Al-Ghazali, the infallible people, that third category, belongs to the prophets of the messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You may say, Imam Al-Ghazali comments, but how can Satan appear to some men and not to others? And is it the real image of Satan when, like in this case, when he appeared to Yahya alayhi salam? So you may say, but how can Satan appear to some men and not to others? If one sees his form, is it his real form? Or is it an image in which Satan appears to him? If it is his real form, how is it that he is seen in different forms? How can he be seen in two places and in two forms at the same time in such a way that two people see him in two different forms? Know that the angel and demon each has two forms, which are their real forms. These are not perceived by natural sight, save only by the illumination of the prophetic office. إلا بأنوار النبوة, the word office. The Prophet ﷺ only saw Jibreel alayhi salam in his true form on two occasions. This particular hadith and the next two, so all three traditions that we are going to read now are all were narrated by Bukhari and Muslims, muttafaq alayh, agreed upon. Once the Prophet ﷺ asked him to show himself to him in his real form, and Jibreel alayhi salam appointed for him a place, al-Baqiyah. Now al-Baqiyah is a burial place, a cemetery, very close to the mosque of the Prophet ﷺ in Medina. So he appointed for him a place, the Baqiyah. He appeared to him at Hira, and that's the second, or rather, and filled the whole horizon from east to west. And he saw him. He saw him during the Mi'raj. So again, he's in his true form, the night of the heavenly journey, the ascension, the Mi'raj, and the lottery of the boundary. He used to, okay, but for the most part, he saw him in the form of a man, anthropomorphic. We have many stories where the prophets, where the angels show up uh, in anthropomorphic form, such as, for example, the angels on the way to the people of Sayyidina Lut alayhi salam. They passed by Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, and in anthropomorphic form, like looking like men. This is why he offered them food. In the Quran, they refrained. Their nature does not change. The form they took does not change their nature. There is no appetite for food. There is no appetite for anything else, of course. And in the Old Testament, they do eat. The Quran, sorry, supersedes that of the Old Testament. And Jibril alayhi salam, when he appeared before Maryam alayhi salam, she sought refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, thinking that he was a real man. Okay, so he appeared in anthropomorphic form. So these are this is normative when the angels pass by the prophets, except for these two occasions. For the most part, the spiritual. There's another part for the how they appeared. The third one, also hadith muttafaq alayh. He resembled Jibreel alayhi salam, the form of Dihya al-Kalbi, who was a man of goodly countenance. He looked like him. Okay. For the most part, the spiritual being, angel or demon, unveils an image of his form to the people of unveiling, Ahl al-Mukashafa, and possessors of hearts, Arbab al-Qulub. And thus, he appears to one of them while he is awake, and this man will see him with his eye and hear his speech with his ear. This will take the place of his real form. In like manner, he is revealed to a majority of good men during sleep. Revelation during waking hours is made only to the one who has attained such a high rank that the occupation of his senses with the things of this world does not prevent the revelation which comes in sleep, so he sees while awake what another sees during sleep. It is also related on the authority of Umar bin Abdul Aziz, rahimahullah, that a man asked his Lord to show him the place Satan occupies in relation to the heart of a man. He saw in his sleep a man's body, which was like crystal. Talk about see-through form, because he wanted to see where Satan is situated. فرأى في النوم جسدا أو جسد رجل شبه البلور, like crystal, and the inside of it was visible from without. He saw Satan in the form of a frog sitting on the left shoulder, and he saw Satan in the form of a frog sitting on the left shoulder, between the shoulder and the ear. He had a long and thin proboscis, which he had put in through the left shoulder into the heart in order to make evil promptings to it. Waswasa. Whenever the man made mention of God, subhanahu wa ta'ala, Satan withdrew. This very same thing is sometimes seen in waking hours, for some of the people of unveiling have seen Satan in the form of a dog, reclining on a carcass and inviting men to it. The carcass represents the lower world, Hayat Dunya. This is like observing his real form, for of necessity reality must appear in the heart from that side of it, which is turned toward the world of spirits. Then its influence shines upon the side which is turned toward the visible material world. For the two sides are connected, the one with the other. We have already explained that the heart has two sides. One of them is turned toward the world of the unseen, which is the place of entrance of inspiration, both general, ilham, and prophetic, wahi. Another side is turned toward the world of sense, and that which appears of this world in the side turned toward the world of sense is only an imagined form. For the world of sense is entirely subject to imaginative reproduction. Sometimes the image comes from looking by means of the sense of sight, for example, at the exterior of the visible world. Thus it is possible that the form may not correspond to the ideal reality. You may see a person with a beautiful external appearance, while he is abominable in his heart and hideous in his inner life, because the world of sense abounds in deception, talbis. Think of a shiny, beautiful apple that is absolutely rotten on the inside. But the form produced in the imagination by the illuminating effect of the world of spirits upon the inner secret hearts cannot but reflect accurately their qualities and correspond to them. For the form in the world of spirits follows the true characteristic and corresponds to it. So it is not strange that the hideous reality is not seen, save in a hideous form. Thus, Satan is seen in the form of a dog, a frog, a pig, and so on. The angel is seen in a beautiful form, and this form is an indication of the ideal realities and a true reflection of them. Therefore, the monkey or pig seen in sleep indicates some hideous likeness, while a sheep indicates a man of integrity. Thus it is with all the categories of dreams and their interpretation. These are strange mysteries, and they belong to the wonders of the heart. It is not fitting to mention them in this book in the knowledge of proper conduct. But the intent is that you shall believe that Satan is revealed to possessors of hearts, arbab al-qulub, and so also the angel, sometimes by means of a representation and reflection, such as takes place in sleep. And sometimes in reality. For the most part, revelation is representation by a form that reflects the ideal reality, not the ideal reality itself. The latter is, however, seen by the eye in genuine eye witnessing. Only the person of unveiling, al-mukashifa, has this direct sight, not others around him. As for instance, a man asleep. This is we have reached the end of chapter 12. Inshallah, in the next session, we'll begin reading chapter 13, an exposition of that for which man is held accountable, and that for which he is pardoned, and not punished for evil promptings of hearts, their decisions, involuntary suggestions, and purposes. بيان ما يؤاخذ به العبد من وساوس القلوب وهمها وخواطرها وقصودها وما يعفى عنه ولا يؤخذ به. Until then, inshallah, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت وأستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.